Hello everyone, welcome to today's presentation on ethical considerations under digital forensics. Right. So ethics refers to the principles and moral values that guide our behavior and decision making. So in the context of digital forensics, ethics is about doing what is right and fair when handling digital evidence and investigating incidents. So it's not just about following the law, but also about respecting people's rights and privacy and the trust placed in forensic professionals. For example, even if you have a technical ability to access someone's private messages, ethics ask whether you should do so, especially if those messages are not relevant to your investigation. So ethical behavior ensures that investigations are conducted with integrity, professionalism, and respect for everyone involved. Right. So we have ethical considerations in digital forensics that we are going to explain. So when conducting digital forensic investigations, several ethics issues must be taken into account. There must be respect for privacy, for suspects' privacy and rights, right? So investigators often have access to sensitive personal information, so it's essential to respect the privacy and legal rights of suspects and other individuals. For example, only examine data that is directly relevant to the case and avoid unnecessary intrusion in unrelated private matters. Two, there is data ownership. Right. Questions arise about who owns the data collected by organizations and how it can be used or shared. Right. So there can be uncertainty over who owns the data collected during an investigation. Is it the individual, the organization, or a third party? For instance, if an employee uses a company laptop for personal emails, questions arise about whether the company or the employee owns that data and how it can be used or shared. Then there's surveillance. Digital forensics may involve monitoring user activity. While this can help catch wrongdoing, it also raises ethical concerns about privacy and the potential for abuse. For example, using surveillance software to track employees' every move can be seen as invasive and must be justified and proportionate to the investigation. Then we move on to collateral damage. Investigations can intentionally affect innocent people. For example, while searching a shared family computer, for example, for evidence, investigator might access private photos or documents belonging to other family members who are not involved in the case. For example, if you are searching my computer, right, that I share with my family, you can also access some private photos of my husband or my family who are not even involved in the case. So care must be taken to minimize harm to unrelated parties. Then there is proper use of dual use technology, right? Many forensic tools can be used for both good and bad purpose. For example, a tool designed to recover deleted files can also be used to steal private information. So investigators must use these tools responsibly and only for legitimate purpose, right? And also every forensic tool or method has the potential to be abused. So tools can be used to commit crimes and procedures can be manipulated to hide evidence. For example, someone with forensic skills might cover their tracks or plant false evidence. So ethical professionals must be vigilant to avoid misuse and ensure their work is honest and accurate. Right. So at the center of this, right, or branching out the principles that we mentioned, you can see that private consent, in summary, connects to respecting personal data and limiting access to only what's necessary. Data ownership links to questions about consent and legal rights over data. Surveillance connects to the balance between security needs and individual freedom. Collateral damage highlights the need to protect uninvolved parties from unnecessary exposure. Dual-use technology emphasizes the importance of intent and oversight in tool usage. Right. So if an investigator fails to respect privacy, they may over-collect data, leading to legal challenges or mistrust. If data ownership is unclear, evidence could be inadmissible in court. Surveillance without proper oversight can lead to abuse or lawsuits. Not considering collateral damage can harm innocent people and damage reputation. Misusing tools or procedures can result in covering up crimes or creating false evidence. So the data protection core principles are essential in digital forensics to ensure that the handling of personal data during investigations, respect privacy laws like GDPR while maintaining the integrity of evidence, right? On the screen, I have some data protection core principles, and I'm going to explain each and every point given on the diagram. So we'll start with openness, and digital forensic practitioners must be transparent about their data processing activities, clearly communicating the purpose, the methods, and the scope of data collection and analysis to relevant stakeholders or data subjects where appropriate. This ensures fairness and trust in the forensic process. I'll move on to collection limitations. Only data that is strictly necessary and relevant to the forensic investigation should be collected. This aligns with the principle of data minimizations, preventing unnecessary or excessive gathering of personal information. For example, investigators must limit their scope to data pertinent to the case. Then there is purpose specification. Purpose of collection and disclosure must be specified. Then we move on to use limitation. Data collected must be used solely for the specified legitimate purposes of the investigation. Any further processing incompatible with the initial purpose is prohibited unless legally justified. Right. So this prevents misuse or unauthorized secondary use of forensic data. Then there is a security. Digital forensic data must be protected against unauthorized access, alteration, loss, or disclosure throughout the investigation. This includes secure storage such as encryption, access controls, and maintaining the integrity of forensic images to preserve evidential value. And we'll move on to data quality. This one, the data collected and analyzed must be accurate, complete, and up to date to ensure reliable forensic conclusion. So investigator must verify the authenticity and integrity of digital evidence to avoid errors or misleading results. Right. Then there is access and correction. Right. Data subjects have a right to access their personal data and request corrections if inaccuracies are found. Right. So digital forensic process should accommodate these rights where applicable, balancing investigation needs with subject rights. Right. Then there is accountability. Forensic practitioners and organizations, right, must demonstrate compliance with the data protection principles through documented policy, procedures, and audit trails. They are responsible for lawful and ethical data handling during all forensic phases, from collection to reporting, right? So in summary, if we apply these principles in digital forensics, we ensure that investigations are conducted lawfully and ethically, protecting individuals' privacy while preserving the integrity and admissibility of digital evidence. So this balance is critical for trustworthy and legally compliant forensic practice. So the diagram on the screen shows that ethical digital forensics is not just about technical skill, it's about making responsible decisions at every stage, protecting rights and maintaining public trust. So every action in an investigation must be justified, documented, and guided by ethical principles. So this marks the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.